Good morning, Blue Streaks. It's Monday, May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Little Star Wars there for you. Hey, you guys have done a great job so far. We got 2 weeks left, all right, of your senior year. I know it's not the kind of senior year you wanted, but you guys have done a great job. I'm proud of you. I miss you. And we just got, one section more we're going to do. Section 11.1, it talks about sequences. And I'll show you some things today and Wednesday. And then little practice quiz the following Monday and quiz following Wednesday. And you guys will be finished. So let's get started. So we're going to be talking about sequences, like I said. And right here is an example of a sequence. And the sequence is just a set of numbers, in order here. We got 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, and so on. And then we got that n squared. So you guys should probably figure out that we're just squaring 1 to get 1, squaring 2 to get 4, squaring 3 to get 9, squaring 4 to get 16, and so on. All right? So when we have these sequences, we have terms. All right? And the way we represent terms is with the letter A and a subscript. So A sub 1 equals the first term. And in this example, the first term is 1. All right? And then A sub 2 would represent the second term. So in this sequence, we have a 4. And then again for the third term, means the A sub 3 is how we represent it. And that would be equal to 9. And then A sub 4 would mean the fourth term, and that would be 16. All right, very tough stuff. All right. And then A sub n represents the nth term. So the n is what the number we're going to, we're used to seeing x's all the time, but when we do sequences, they always use n, and that's the number we substitute in for. All right. So, if I wanted the second term, I substitute 2 in for n. If I want the fourth term, I substitute 4 in for n. All right. So in this situation, in this sequence, the nth term is whatever term we want to the second power. That's the rule for that sequence. Okay, so if I wanted the 10th term, A sub 10, I'd write A sub 10, subscript, would mean I would do 10 squared, which would be 100. So I could find any term I wanted because I know the rule. Okay, so that's all we're doing is we're substituting in for n, whatever term we want, and then we figure it out. So let's look at a couple examples. All right, this example, we want to find the first 4 terms, and here's the rule for our nth term. So the nth term equals 1 divided by n times the quantity n plus 1. All right, so if I want to find the first term, let's just pull that down. Okay, I would substitute 1 wherever I see an n. All right, the 1 in the top is always there because of the rule. And then I'm going to put a 1 in for n because I'm looking for the first term. So I put 1 in for the n, so my numerator stays 1. And then it's 1 times 2. 1 plus 1 is 2. So the first term of this sequence would be 1/2. Okay, let's do the second term. So that means we're looking for, oops, I don't need to do that. Let's go back for a second. And we'll pull that over. try to make it a little bit better for you guys. And this time for the second term, it's still 1 on the top, but this time n is 2. So a 2 goes for that end, and a 2 goes in for that end. All right, so that's what it looks like when I substitute. And I get still 1 in the top, and a 2, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So my answer, or my second term, is 1/6. And then for the third term, we're going to put 3 in. All right, let's try to give ourselves a little more room here. Again, 1's for the numerator. Again, just using the rule from the problem. And the third term means n is 3. So wherever I see an n, I put a 3. So that's 1/3 times 4. My right bad, which should be 1/12. And then my fourth term means I put 4 in for n. So 1/4 for n. And 4 plus 1, I'm just going to do it in my head, 5. And that's 1/20. So there's the first 4 terms of that sequence. A sub 1, first term is 1/2. A sub 2, second term is 1/6. A sub 3, 1/12. A sub 4, 1/20. Simple. You can do it, no problem. All right. All right. Here's another one. Same deal. Okay. I'm going to get rid of that. Extend our page. All right. So my first term, let's move those down out of the way for a sec. So my first term, wherever I see an n, sorry, I put a 1. So I'm going to put a 1 for that exponent and a 1 for that n. So let's change colors. This would be 2 to the first, because n is 1, over 1 for n squared, which would be 2 divided by 1, or 2. Second term, a2, or a sub 2, would be 2 still. And since I'm doing the second term, n is 2, so 2 squared over n is 2, again, over 2 squared. Again, that doesn't change. That stays 2 the whole time there. So that's 4 divided by 4. So that answer is 1 for my second term. The third term, I'm going to put 3 when we see an n. All right, so this would be 2 to the third for that n, over 3 for that n, and again, that stays squared. So 2 cubed is 8, and 3 squared is 9. So the third term is 8/9. And then the fourth term, I'm going to put 4 where I see an n. So 2 to the fourth over 4 squared. And 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. And 4 squared, 4 times 4 is 16. So we're back to 1. And that's okay. Okay. So first term is 2, second term is 1, third term is 8/9, fourth term is 1. That's the first 4 terms of the sequence for that example. So again, all we're doing is we're going to substitute 1 in for n on the first term, 2 in for n on the second, 3 in for n, and so on. All right, very, very simple. Piece of cake. All right. Now here's another way to figure out sequences. So there's what we call a recursive rule, a little bit different. Okay. So we have this a sub n minus 1 term. Okay. So, if I'm looking at the first term, n is 1. Okay. And then if n is 2, the second term, it'd be a sub 2 minus 1, which is 1, or the previous term. All right. It's kind of tricky, but just always remember, a sub n minus 1 is the previous term. Okay. So, a special type of sequence that basically uses a recursive rule is called Fibonacci's sequence. And the sequence goes like this. It goes 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, and this keeps going forever, right? But what it uses in this Fibonacci sequence, and this is really a real special one that you'll see in nature and stuff if you were to study it. But anyway, you use the two terms before to get the next term. So you add 1 plus 1 is 2 to get the third term. 1 plus 2, the second plus the third equals the fourth. 1 plus 2 is the third term. So that's a recursive type sequence. 2 plus 3 gives me the 5. 3 plus 5 gives me the 8. 5 plus 8 gives me the 13. So you guys could tell me the next term. You figure it out on your own. Okay? But that's just a quick example of one. All right? But remember, a sub n minus 1. Very important. Previous term. Okay? So you got to remember that. Don't confuse yourself. Make it harder than it is. All right? So here's an example. It says find the first 3 terms. Okay? They always will give you the first term. So actually, you only have to find 2 answers when you get this type of problem. They always give you the first term, and you're going to use that to find the second term. And then once you get the second term, you're going to use that to find the third term. Okay? So here's our rule. The nth term equals n, whatever term you're looking for, times this a to the n minus 1. Remember, that's the previous term. That's all just one number. Okay? So to find the second term, let's move that down a little more. All right. Since we're looking for the second term, n is 2. Oops, I need to get my pen back. And there's no symbol between them, so it's times the previous term. Well, the previous term is the first term, which is 1. So the second term for this sequence is 2 times 1, or 2. Okay? Now the third term, we're looking for the third term. That means n is 3. So I put a 3 in for n times the previous term. Well, the previous term was 2. So I substitute 2 in for that a sub n minus 1. So I get 6. Okay? So, again, n is whatever term you're looking for. So since we're looking for the second term, I put 2 in for the n. And this a sub n minus 1, that's the previous term. And that was a 1, because the first term was 1, the one before that. Okay, to find the third term, n was 3, and I used the previous term, which was a 2, I put right there. Okay, so the previous term goes right there. All right, we use the previous term right there. So if I had to do the fourth, A4, ooh, that's ugly. All right, n would be 4 times the previous term, 6. So the fourth term would be 24 if you had to find it. Just trying to get you to understand. Once you get the hang of this, it's pretty easy. So previous term goes in for the a sub n minus 1. All right, let's look at one more of those examples. All right, again, we're finding the first 3. They'll give you the first one to start. All right, so let's find the second one. So this time the first term was 2. All right, and in this rule, the nth term is 2 times whatever term you're looking for times the previous term. So we're multiplying 3 numbers. Okay, so we always start out with 2. Let's use red again. All right, so the 2 right there. That's always going to be a 2, that first one. Times n, whatever term you're looking for in this problem. In this case, the second term, n is 2. Times the previous term. Remember, that's the previous term, one before. Well, the one before was a 2, so it's just 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, which would be 8. All right? And then for the third term, all right, we always use a 2 to start according to this rule. Now, I'm looking for the third term, so n is 3. Times the previous term. Remember, a sub n minus 1, previous term, one before. So that 8 was the last number we had in our sequence. That goes here. So 2 times 3 is 6 times 8 makes that third term of that sequence, 48. Okay, so that's basically it for today. All right, and this is the last thing you're going to get quizzed on. All right, is this and then what I show you on Wednesday. Okay, so I have 3 of the first type, where you're just plugging the whatever term you're looking for in for n into your little rule and finding your terms. And you have 3 okay. Are we having technical difficulties? Really? All right. So let's go back. I don't want to save changes, so I'm just going to get out of that for a second and go to my chapters and see if it'll reopen it. Sorry for the delay, but on the last slide is your 6 homework problems. Okay, so it looks like it came back, I hope. I'll go right to that. So these are your 6 problems for homework. Okay, and shouldn't be too bad for you, but I'll leave it there for a few minutes here so you can take a picture of it if you need. Right, the first 3, again, just putting 1, 2, and 3 in for n, and 4, 5, and 6, you're going to just put 2 in and 3 in for n. Remember, this a sub n minus 1 is the previous term. Shouldn't take you long. Again, thanks for keeping up with your work. Let's finish strong, only 2 more weeks. Hopefully I'll be able to see you sometime. You know, whether when it's turning stuff in, I don't know the details yet, or what's going to happen with graduation things. It might just be a virtual. I have no idea. So we'll be finding that out soon. Mr. Harold and the other principals and Mr. Tobin will get that figured out for us. But hopefully I get to see you sometime. Again, let's just finish strong. Have a great day. Remember to look good, feel good, You are good. You guys are awesome. Have a great day.